Hey everybody, Steven here, and today I'm going to do an overview with a slight review for the Tune-Up Fitness Alpha Ball right here, which is, it's a softer density, right? It's a lower density soft tissue tool that you can use. And I use this for glutes and some of these harder to hit areas, piriformis, IT band, calves, where if you're using a foam roller, or if you're using a lacrosse ball or a massage stick or some of these other things, especially if you have clients maybe that are doing these things and they're like, it's too intense, it's too much. This is a good way to get in there, and you can actually get into certain areas, specifically with your glutes and your hips and your psoas, a little bit better than with some of the other tools that you're using, like a lacrosse ball. It just digs in there just a little bit deeper, but in a softer way, where lacrosse ball is high density and it's just going to push too much on that. Like I said, it might be too intense for some people, and you can actually cause damage if you're going too extreme with some of this stuff. So with this, it's a way to kind of scale what you're doing with that. Now I'm going to show some footage of me actually doing a handful of the different maneuvers that I use with this for the glutes and the piriformis and the psoas, and actually my lower back, so my lumbar spine. Getting into those erectors a little bit, this is a good tool for that, where it's soft enough that I can maneuver on that, and it's just not something hard pushing on there where it's causing really just nerve pain, right? So this is a lower density one. It's actually bigger than a lacrosse ball. I use medicine balls sometimes to hit the glutes and the piriformis, but that for some people can be too much. It's medicine ball is going to be really, really dense. It's going to be a harder surface. So for some people it just might be painful. We don't want that, right? Now, to a certain degree, yes, you are experiencing some discomfort when you're doing all these soft tissue routines, especially if you have a job where you sit, or you haven't been doing soft tissue work at all, and you actually don't stretch that much, and you're really just new to all of this. Yes, there is discomfort with this. Now, what we don't want though is straight pain, where there's just a lot of nerve pain, and that's where a tool like this can come in handy. It can be very useful because, like I said, it's not as intense. This is a lower density ball, and it's actually a little bit bigger than the lacrosse ball, so like I said, it gets into certain areas just a little bit easier, a little bit better, without just jamming something up in, let's say, on the side of my hip or something like that, where I'm pushing on this area where there's a lot of nerves, and you're taking something that's just, it's too much for the area. So I'm going to put a link for this in the description box. I personally love this tool. I actually tweaked my back a couple weeks ago, and this has been a huge help. Because what happens with some of those injuries like that is or any injury, you're going to cause tissue to kind of lock down on certain areas. It's going to get tight in certain areas. So you're going to have to convince that tissue that it's okay and that it needs to relax. So this has been extremely helpful for that. But I'll put a link in the description box for this. I'm actually going to talk about the yoga balls as well, which are essentially kind of similar in size to a lacrosse ball, but they're softer, and it's a good way that you can get into certain areas like your lats and your neck and all that, where maybe the lacrosse ball is too intense for you. So just like we do with all the exercise stuff, we scale these things. Same thing with the soft tissue. You can scale that way you're not just going in there and irritating tissue and thinking that just because it's painful it's good. This is a way, like I said, to kind of maneuver around that a little bit and figure out what your threshold is and what your body actually needs with all this soft tissue work that you're doing. So I love this thing. I definitely give it a thumbs up. Like I said, put that link in the description box. When I do the yoga one, I'll do that as well. And then I'm going to shoot some videos showing some routines that I do. Now, I've shown the one where it's me kind of going through my routine, but I'm not talking about what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. So I'm going to shoot some videos with this that are going to go a little bit more in depth with stuff that you can do with this Alpha Ball. So, and it's not expensive. I think I got this thing for like 16 to 20 bucks on Amazon. It's not expensive at all. Great versatile tool. Plus travel size also. That's a big plus. Like I can take this with me, put it in my backpack, and you're fine, or your suitcase, and you're fine. And I can use this, and actually I can replace, this is like I consider this almost like an in between, like a foam roller and a lacrosse ball. It's somewhere as far as the surface area that it's hitting, because a foam roller is a much greater surface area. A lacrosse ball is a very, very narrow, tight area that it's going to be hitting. This is a little bit bigger and allows it to get into certain areas that you might not be able to hit with the foam roller, but the lacrosse ball's too intense. So overall, great product. Love this thing. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, please do that in the comment section below. Subscribe, follow along with all the fitness stuff that I cover. So the medical exercise stuff, the nutrition, the MoveNat stuff, the soft tissue stuff that I do as well. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching.